is going on, guys? Thanks for jumping in. Episode 4. Really excited to bring Coach Nathan Kreiser into this one to talk to us all. But before he jumps in, I've been getting a lot of questions about these hats that I've been sporting on these podcasts. Just so everybody knows, they are available for sale. All you got to do is go to NavyWrestlingClub.com, and there's a link in our website there. Lots to choose from, and so if you're looking to get some swag, go to our website and it'll ship it right to you. But yeah, we got Nate Kreiser, 2017 graduate of Campbell University. He's a Maryland resident, grew up in Elliott City, 4-time Maryland state champ, 2017 All-American, and now he is at the Naval Academy Preparatory School. Let's get Nate on. There we go. Nate, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You got me?
What's up? Nate the Great.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for taking time. I know you got a lot going on.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, dude, I when we saw each other at Clarion, I thought it'd be cool to just pull you in, learn a little bit more about you. Your role as the coach at NAPS, how you got to NAPS really, and why NAPS is so important to the broader picture of Naval Academy Wrestling, and then obviously like development into future leaders and stuff. First I just Nate, I kind of just wanted to hand the mic over to you. Like, wanted you to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from. I knew you're from, Maryland and everything, but how'd you get roped in with Colat? And, go for it.
So, from Ellicott City, Maryland, it's like 45 minutes from the Naval Academy, depending on traffic, of course. But, been there my whole life. Colat came to Maryland when I was 10, 11 years old, started a club. And that was a perfect opportunity for me. I did rec league and then the Howard County Vipers, a travel team, and that was the next level. It was perfect timing for me, and really took my wrestling to the next level. Started going to national tournaments like Tulsa Nationals, Dixie, that kind of stuff, and just really opened up my wrestling. Around my sophomore or junior year, he took the job at UNC as an assistant. I think it was around then. And so I was fortunate enough to have him for 6 years before then. And even after he left, that style that he impressed on me and the work ethic and stuff held through my training through high school. I just went to my local public school, Centennial High School. My dad was my coach, who dropped me off at all those practices before I could drive. So he saw the kind of room Coach Colat ran, and he transitioned that into our high school practices. So that was great. And then I went to UNC while Coach Colat was there. And then after my sophomore year, he took the head coaching job at Campbell, and I followed him from UNC to Campbell. And then I did 3 years at Campbell. I redshirted my first year and then wrestled junior and senior year.
Okay, so you did 2 years at UNC.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then, I think you told me this offline, but you were 125, 133, and then back to 125. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
What'd you do your redshirt year?
I did 33 my redshirt year.
Okay.
Sprinkled in a little bit of freestyle as well, but went up to 33 to try to focus on getting better, not weight management during the year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's something that I think a lot of young guys struggle with, worried about weight instead of just focusing on, wrestling to your best. And
yeah.
But okay. So was the plan from the grip to go wherever Colat went? You wanted to, wherever he was, you were going to go with him, because of the relationship that you had from growing up.
Right. It was definitely a big factor. I looked at other schools. Maryland and Virginia Tech were also high on my list. I mean, Maryland was local. My whole dad's side of the family went to Virginia Tech. I think I was the first Kreiser to not go to Virginia Tech. Kind of broke that mold. Okay. But I mean, I liked UNC as well. It was good, but Colat played a huge role, and I knew how much better I got wrestling for him at that young age, and I knew and I kind of saw a jump my freshman year in college again, like going back to training with him. Like, I think I went into nationals as a 7 seed as a freshman, like none of us top 10 guys during the year. Didn't end up as I had hoped that year. Fell one match short of All-Americaning, but just the jump, a lot of freshmen and people in general have that struggle of jumping from high school to college, and that was accelerated a lot for me, I think, due to reuniting with Coach Colette and just getting back on it.
Yeah. I kind of, when I introduced you or whatever, I mentioned you were an All-American your senior year, 2017. But when I was reading your bio just shortly before we started this thing was you were in the NWCA All-Star Classic too.
Yeah, same year.
Where was that at?
That year was at Cleveland State.
Very cool. What was that like, and like how did you get pulled into that or invited to that?
I don't remember if somebody backed out or not, but it was me and a guy named Barlow McGee from Missouri. So it was a different timeline then. It was before our first competition. I think.
So like October?
Yeah, or like right before. Yeah, I think it was end of October. Okay. So I wrestled there at Cleveland State, and then we had a tri-meet at West Virginia the next day that I.
Oh my gosh! And you were making 25.
And it was scratched both days because it wasn't like an NCAA. Yeah. That All-Star Classic doesn't count on your record, but it was a good chance for me to like weigh in and compete. That first time making 25 was actually the easiest because I had all that time to like slowly shrink my body. And at that point as a senior, I was disciplined enough. Like I knew what worked for me and what didn't. I'd had struggles before. That doesn't mean I definitely still had some struggles that senior year of making it. Yeah. But that first time was actually the easiest for me because it's just slowly descending it. Didn't have to crash it. But it was a good chance, I thought, to put Campbell on the map, like hopefully get some recruiting. Since we were also in the SoCon, we had limited opportunities to wrestle like Big Ten guys, like guys highly ranked, and I thought that was a good opportunity as well to see some high-level competition back down a weight class and kind of see how I felt competing there. So it was worked out well. Yeah. Ended up getting the win without a takedown, of course. That was kind of my...
Without a takedown?
Without a takedown. That's back when they still had 2-point takedowns.
The score was 3-2. At least that's what was on your bio. So how'd you get through? You get a reversal or something?
I got taken down in the first, pretty quick escape in the second, pretty quick, and then rode him out the whole third period.
Oh, wow.
To get riding time as
well. Okay, I also saw you wrestled him at the scuffle, too. Yep. And that was a 1-0 match.
Yeah, no takedowns.
He took neutral in the third. I don't remember Barlow. I mean, you guys are younger than me, but he looked like he was 5 foot nothing. Just you were a foot and a half taller than him.
A lot of those guys at 25. It's hard to get to their legs when they're that much shorter than you. It's hard to get under them sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's cool, man. The All-Star Classic. It's kind of funny. We just had it last weekend. I didn't actually get to watch it because, you probably didn't either because we were traveling. But I think I read it was like record numbers, like streamers for Flow, which is cool.
They had some big guys competing this year. I think almost all the matches are like two top 10 ranked kids competing against each other. So that's going to draw some eyes for sure.
Yeah, hopefully it continues to grow. I think it's cool, to do those earlier in the year. Nobody really in February or in March, nobody really cares how well you do in November. I think Starachi posted something on Twitter about we need more big name guys and more what are you holding on to?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. It's November.
Yeah. It's a great chance to figure out to wrestle a high level guy and see where the holes in your game are because you might not get it against those guys that are frankly not on the same level as you, and those are the guys you need to beat for a national title. So go get a crack at them.
Figure out where your holes are, and you got a couple months to figure them out before you see them again. So
exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. I think he's spot on with that comment, and I think we will probably see more and more top guys go to those over the next couple of years. But you were also the first Campbell guy to get to do that event, and you were also the first Campbell All-American.
Yeah.
So a lot of Campbell's success, success over the last, I don't know, almost a decade now, could be traced back to you and Coach Colat. Well, no, you can't. You can play humble all you want. Like you certainly helped put that program on the map.
Yeah.
And your name will always be there as the first guy to ever get on the podium, which is huge, dude. So, I know that's a big deal, and you won't. I'll brag for you, but yeah. So how did the NAPS thing? How did that come to fruition? And forgive me, I know you've told me this, offline when I went up and visited you earlier this summer, but I just think it's a critical role, really, for the development of the guys coming to the Naval Academy. You obviously see that. Not everybody that's listening or watching this fully understands it. So how did that come to fruition? You being up there and with no military background and everything,
right.
What did you learn throughout that experience and in your role there too?
Yeah, so after I graduated, I worked at Campbell for 2 years and then took a job at Clarion University. And then around, Coach Collette reached out. There's an athletic director at NAPS who was there for 20 some odd years, been there a long time.
Okay.
He was retiring, and then the wrestling coach that was currently there got the athletic director position. So that opened up the wrestling coach position. But the timeline was kind of funky. My position started in January of 22, so I'll actually be here for 3 years in about a month and a half. So that was a little funky, but it was a better. Coach Collette told me about the opening, and I applied and interviewed and got the position. It was the right move for me and my wife. I had just gotten married, and it was a better fit for us. So I was excited for the role, and it was definitely a little shock getting there because I'd visited the Naval Academy for a camp and stuff here and there, but the military aspect was the number of acronyms. I'm still learning new acronyms and figuring out what they mean. There's so many, but it was jumping right in the fire. But luckily I still had that coach there. A lot of times when you come in as a new coach to a program, I was lucky to have the old coach still there as the athletic director to help me understand the system, and then the coaching staff among the sports are way more close-knit across sports at NAPS than they are across any other school I've been at.
Yeah.
My office is right next to the lacrosse coach, and then the basketball coach is on the other side. And it's just, we all work together. We all have collateral duties. So learning the military aspect and helping the kids balance it, the academics, military, and athletics, it gives them that first taste of it, because I'm sure you can attest to it. When you first step foot for plebe summer, it's a shock right away, and you're like, what did I get myself into? And then school year starts, and you're getting up at 5:30 every day and mustering up and going to class and squeezing the wrestling in there. College is already an adjustment, then add the military aspect on top. So I do my best to help the guys take it one step at a time. That first shock, hey, this isn't what it's going to be like the whole year. This is during NDOC for us. It's only 3 weeks, not the full 6 weeks. But especially that first day or two, I go and check on the guys, and their eyes are like, I don't know what I did. What did I sign up for? But, they just talk them through it. They're worried about the physical stuff. I'm like, once we start doing PT and stuff, then they're in their groove. There's a lot of stop and go. You'll be getting screamed at, then standing around. So they're helping them adjust to that. And then during the year, biggest thing is getting them through, right? Got to make sure they get to the academy. That's my number one priority. So academics plays a big role in that. They could be here for different reasons, but getting them used to studying. We get some guys that were naturally smart, never had to study. Some guys that are learning how to learn, and everybody's got a little bit different window. I get such hands-on with them that I'm able to kind of cater to each guy and help them out, and we can adjust as we need to. Like, this is a year to get better, not just at wrestling, but academically too. It's a prep school. We're prepping you in all aspects.
And that's why it's so huge. I mean, your role is so huge. Like, you are literally molding these young men, in guiding them into a major transitional period of their life. They're going from home where they're comfortable with their parents to this military environment, which they most certainly had never been surrounded by. Classes are harder.
Yeah.
Nobody, you got people yelling at you all the time. Your only safe space is in the, on the wrestling mat and with you, and, being there as a mentor is huge. But like you said, learning how to learn is huge.
Yeah.
And finding those, similar to wrestling, like finding those holes and those gaps in your academic before you get to the academy. So I think like you're a great person for that job, and I know everybody that I've met that's come through, the NAPS under your leadership is, praise you on the job that you've done, and you've certainly done a great job from my perspective. And I forgot that you got there like halfway through the year 2022. So who was on the team then? Who were your guys then?
So Brendan Ferretti, Quadala, and then I actually had some Jacob Lucas. We also had some Coast Guard wrestlers. They'll send us some. We haven't gotten any the past 2 years, but it's nice. It's more bodies in the room. They know how to wrestle. Like, they're Coast Guard's D3, but they're still. It's nice to have more people around, more
people to practice with, for sure.
Going with the same guy every day, fist fights happen quicker. You start getting a little annoyed, but so it's nice to have extra guys to mix it up and get different looks. And they help each other out too. Like, back to the academic things a little bit. Like, there's 4 classes. They take math, chemistry, physics, and English, and that's it. They take those 4 classes. We do 3 marking periods instead of like semesters. So they take those every year, and it's nice. Depending on how they're doing academically, sometimes I'll take the day before test day, and we'll have like a study hall and just give them a little bit of extra time, guided time. And it's been a little while since I've opened a academic textbook, so I'm not as good at helping the guys out with their math homework or whatever, but it's nice having them all in there, and they can bounce ideas off each other if they need to academically along with on the mat. And our time is limited wrestling wise. We have a 2-hour window to practice, which we make the most of. Like, they're a little bit of escape from, there's a lot of crunch time, academic and military. So try to make it fun for them. I mean, wrestling's, it's a sport. You should enjoy it and have fun. And we do, but we also get some good work in. Like, this is the time I get to basically have one-on-one time with each person. Like, especially it's a small group. I never have more than like 10 guys. So it's 5 groups. I can spend a ton of time with each group and kind of cater. That's one benefit. Instead of having the full team of 40, I can focus on what each guy needs to work on, right? Like, this year, Benny needs a little bit more work on bottom. I can spend a full practice on him, focusing on bottom, where Adams might need more work getting to the legs, and we can spend more time on our setups with him. It allows it to be much more individualized for the kids, which I think helps them a lot, and it helps them. But I try to help them figure out, like, get better at what you're good at and fill in those holes, that areas you really struggle, and we can
for sure
take more time to really analyze that stuff.
For sure. So, what do you think of the guys that we got there now? What gains have you seen them, make over the last couple months? And one thing I was going to ask you guys too is, like, what else is on your schedule? What's coming up? And I know you do a really good job of getting them decent, actual matches in the limited, season that they have, being like a red shirt type season. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got all PA boys this year. I got Julian Everett, I got Tyler Adams, and Andrew Binney. I've seen jumps in their hand fighting. That's a big one, and just how they're moving. It's hard to tell in the room. I know you guys get the same thing. Like after that first competition, I was really able to see like, okay, this is
Right.
something to work on.
Yeah.
And really, they're doing a good job of absorbing, like, hey, do you expect to never give up a takedown in a match? They're like, no. I'm like, okay. So are you planning to only get one takedown? They're like, no. I'm like, all right. So go take some risks. And they've been really receptive to that. And they're learning how to create angles. Like they're learning how to force guys to make mistakes. And where in high school they could like putting pressure on guys that made more of their own mistakes, now they're forcing guys to make mistakes. And I've seen them really accept that and like get after guys a little bit more. Like they're not being as passive with the hand fight. They're making the match. They're not allowing the match to come to them. They're creating the action and moving forward and getting the legs. Or even you can be offensive without shooting. Like creating pressure, like holding the position, creating pressure, forcing bad shots. And I think Benny did a great job this weekend. He wrestled 6 matches. I think he lost 1, and that was the only match he gave up a takedown. Like he wrestled some good guys, and he's just going forward. It's so much easier, even when you're tired. Going forward is so much easier to keep doing than going backwards. It's hard to get your momentum going again, going backwards.
That was actually one of the things that I noticed most about Benny was there was no there was no time where he wasn't getting hands on or pressuring whoever he was wrestling. If he was getting out on bottom, it was turning and he was hands on. There wasn't this lull of action. Yeah. And I don't know if that's something you've been like harping on them through the in your time that you've had with him, or if that's just been his style or but that was one of the things that I remember, I was like, oh, wow, that's some of the stuff that we're trying to focus on right now with the guys at RTC practices, and is like getting, turn and go, like hands on, pressuring your opponent, because you're spot on. Being offensive is not just taking a million shots. It's creating pressure and action with your hand fighting, your motion, and, so forth. So, Benny, actually, I was impressed with his hand fighting and his ability to force pressure on his opponents. So that's cool that you bring that up.
Yeah, we had to dial him back a little bit on some of his shots, like especially in practice. If he gives up the takedown, he gets out and he wants to get it back so bad, so fast that he kind of forces shots. And he's like, Adams has some length, he can get in and hold onto that leg and like work his way up. Benny doesn't have that shoulder flexibility. He's got shorter arms, so just doesn't mean we stop being offensive, but pick our shots a little bit more. And he did a great job this weekend of either getting in under the guy and lifting him up, or getting to the angle, getting their foot off the mat, like not hanging out underneath. That was something we really stressed after Clarion, and he made that adjustment for sure.
It's nice that those guys are, all relatively around the same weight too.
Yeah.
So they can kind of mix it up. And you're right there too. So
yeah, they're getting me back in shape.
And what's also super cool, and it just makes sense that you're up there, is like Colat's system.
Yeah,
like you trained with him your whole life. So, and I think you guys he communicates the practices, or you have our calendar, so you're looking at what. Yeah, so it when he writes the practices or where he's talking about certain things, like you certainly know what he is talking about because you've gone through that system, and it just sets those guys up so much better.
Absolutely. And he does. It's nice preseason, if you guys are focusing on something, it's nice to know that, and like making sure I'm stressing the same points. I don't think I could run a practice not like him. Not to the same extent, but I think it's ingrained in me, like subconsciously, of like how to run that. But then he also trusts me enough. He doesn't micromanage me of like, what'd you do at practice this week? Like,
yeah.
To recognize the holes we had at Clarion. They might not have been the same holes that you guys had. And he doesn't say he doesn't micromanage me. He trusts me to get that done. So that's nice. And then I know you asked about where we're going next. It's hard for opens. There's not as many in certain windows of the year, like ton the first weekend, and then there's on and off weekends. We're going to George Mason after Thanksgiving break, and then they get out of school, I think, December 19th. They get their winter break, but there's one December 20th in Wilkes, PA, that we're going to go to, even though they're on break, get down there and get some matches in.
The Sheridan?
Sheridan, I think that's an invite, so we can't go to that one. But Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, they put one on, and it's right in the heart. I think it's like 10 minutes from Everett's house. He's bumped there. I think they're planning a big old sleepover the night before. I don't know, but they're hungry. And you guys do it too. They get to school so much earlier than normal college kids. I remember coming back like mid-August or something and starting classes in September. They've been in classes since mid-August, and they're just and all that time practicing. They're like, I haven't gone this long practicing without a competition, and I don't know how long. So they're ready to itch. So I try to get them as many matches as we can. Tournaments are great. Duels don't make much sense because Coach Collette does a good job of sending guys that are close enough in weight proximity that they can all practice with each other, right? It doesn't do me much good to have like one 25-pounder, a 165-pounder, and then a 197. Like they're all spread out. They're not giving each other realistic looks. He does a good job of each year kind of clustering the guys he sends so that they can give each other different looks. Like Benny's short and stocky, Adams is long and lanky. They both need to learn how to wrestle each other, like those kind of styles. And Everett's got great position, good head hands, and learning how to get through guys like that. And he is learning how to be more offensive and quick, not use his size. It's a great system we got going right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
when are you guys gonna do you guys get to come down back to the yard anytime soon or no?
No official trip like to Navy. I think they have them planning to go to the Army-Navy football game this year. And is that in Baltimore or in DC?
It's in FedEx. I'm going to do a quick little search here. I think it's at FedEx Field in DC.
That'll be nice.
And that is
I think it's December 14th.
December 14th. And it is, Army's ranked 18th right now. Dang.
Be nice to knock them off. Take them out.
I know. I don't think they've lost yet. Have they played Notre Dame?
I think that's coming up. I know they do this year. I don't think they have yet.
They got Notre Dame next.
Okay.
The 23rd. They got Notre Dame 23rd.
Right around Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And then they got us December 14th, FedEx Field. And so you guys get to go to that. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Have you been to them before?
I have not personally. I know the kids do. I think faculty and staff there's a certain number of ticket allocations. I think a lot of people have already requested those. I would love to go, but
you didn't get tickets.
Not this year.
Dude, you got to get tickets, man. It's like it's not like a normal college football game, man. It is it is pretty wild.
I'll see if I can finagle it at this point.
I know Blaze was talking about it this morning. They just sent out the link to so you might be able to still get your hands on them.
Okay. I'll definitely try to do that. And then I know Army-Navy Wrestling this year is at West Point, but the past 2 years, every year I've been here, we've gone and at least watched. So whether it was at Army or Navy, we'll go there and be in attendance and watch, which the guys love. They get into it, and
for sure. How far is West Point?
It's about 3-4 hours.
Oh wow! Okay.
Unfortunately, there's no short drives for us. We're really far up here in the Northeast, up in Newport, but.
Is it just getting miserable? Is it miserable yet?
The guys are starting to feel it. Like during the day, it's still all right. But I warned them. I was like, it gets cold, and they muster up in Looney Plaza every morning at like 5:30. And
every morning.
Yeah, yep. Not on the weekends, I don't think. But they're like, Coach, you weren't kidding. It's cold in the morning. He's like, the cold wouldn't be that bad, but the wind, it's like a wind tunnel in there. It comes in right off the water and just whips them.
Yeah.
So I don't think they've had, at some point, somebody will oversleep and they're all standing out there and waiting for that one guy to come down.
Oh, gosh.
So
I didn't realize that was an Avery thing, but makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right. Transition question. So what is what's the craziest practice or Colat story, one or the other, that you've got?
We were actually talking about it on the van ride this past weekend to and from Millersville. One that sticks out. I got two that stick out in my mind. One, I think they're both club practices. We were practicing from like 6 to 8, and there was a day where we were just dragging. Like, team was off, like just not having a good practice. It gets to like 7:15 or something. Coach Golat goes, you know what? Starting over. Start jogging. We just started the whole.
You serious?
Yeah, the whole practice over again. And I don't think we ended at like 10:30. I think we ended at like 9. I don't know if it was like a full restart, but yeah, went through jog the whole warm up. We learned all the techniques.
Dang.
So that one definitely stands out. And then the other one, he used to do a thing at the end of practice on some days. Everyone's jogging and he's giving the speech. He's like, all right, if you're going 100%, like, I'll call you out. Like, all right, Peyton, you're done. You're going 100%. Kreiser, you're done. So we're jogging, and then he'll be like, all right, sprint, bear crawl, crab walk, back to sprint, squat jumps, and you're just going in a circle, and you're going hard. And I think I was like 14, 15 at this time. And he goes to my dad. He's like, I'm going to try to break Nathan. He told me this afterwards. He's like, I'm going to try to break him. So he goes, and I'm going hard, and I'll like, let's say it was me and you. We're sprinting. I pass you on the sprint. And he'd be like, all right, Peyton, you're done. I'm like, what? And then, like, he keeps kind of doing it. Maybe not that obvious, but, like, you see the other people, how hard they're working. And it's like, it got to a point where it's like, I guess I'm going to be the last. I was close to breaking. He almost got me. But then it got to the point where it's like, screw it. I'm going to be the last one. And I'll just keep passing people. I'm accepting I'm going to be the last one out here. And then I think with like 4 people left, he was like, all right, Kreiser, you're done. I was a little mad at him after that one. But
So these are both club examples.
Yeah.
Nothing from Campbell or UNC where it was just like miserable or I don't know. I just there's so many, you know, in the office. It's just a revolving door of stories, and I don't know. It's always interesting to hear everybody's path.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple.
Those are two good ones, but
we had.
I hadn't heard those.
At Campbell, we had one. There's 2 roundabouts where we started outside the wrestling room, and we had to run. You had a partner. You had to run around, and then when you got back, your partner had to run around. And then if the first, like, for the little guys, the first group that got done, like, didn't have to do another one, and then same thing with the big guys.
Mm.
And we had a guy from Finland on our team.
Yeah. I heard about this guy.
And he did his lap. He was with the big guys, and then his partner did it. And his partner was so slow, and he was so mad. But his English was so bad, and he's like, Ville, what are you doing? Like, yeah, you got to go again. And he's so mad. He's like, yeah, Montique. I forget who he said. It's a bad story to do because I can't remember all the details. But he was
but he was dragging.
Yeah, his partner was dragging, and he was so mad. But when he got mad, his accent got worse, and he was like, Coach Collette was like, who's your partner? He's like, Montico or something. He's like, who? Like, we don't have one of those people on the team. It was like, he was so flustered and so mad that he couldn't.
Pissed him off more.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like, got to keep running. Yeah.
He knows how to get under people's skin for sure.
Oh, he knows how to push people's buttons. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Makes for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly been fun, the last couple months, and just learning from him, him and Barry and Ty and Blaze, and it's been quite a, very rewarding experience so far, and really getting to know you has been cool too, man. I remember, watching you. Like I said, you're a couple years younger than me, but you really did put Campbell on. You helped put Campbell on the map, man. I remember being like, "Who?" So my freshman year, we dueled Campbell in the old gym before all the renovations.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't think we lost. Like I think we won we probably won every match.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even know you guys, like, it was a program.
Right.
And then or a D1 program, and I probably didn't even, like, after that duel, know that it was D1. And then when I see you climbing through the ranks and getting on the podium, I was like, damn, like, they're doing something right here. And I think Coach Collette does a really good job of making things exciting wherever he ends up going, and finding and creating success, in probably the least expecting places. UNC, not notorious for their wrestling, had a great, brought that program to where it got to. And then Campbell, obviously, I don't know when you so top 25 program at one point, right? Like,
Yep.
But when he left, like, what was definitely top 25.
Yeah, because I left for Clarion before he left for Navy. But that 2017 year, the year I graduated, we won SoCons that year. I think that was the first time we won SoCons, and I think we sent five to nationals. So when we first got there, we actually had an APR issue, which is an academic progress rate. Are your guys in good academic standing, and are they staying at the school? And it's something we inherited. So they punish you by taking away your postseason. So that's a big reason I redshirted. I was happy I didn't redshirt freshman or sophomore year, because I was able to redshirt while we didn't have a postseason, because I wanted every opportunity I could to get on the stand. So we redshirted everybody that had one available. So we only had like five guys in the lineup. That was a rough year. And then coming in the next year, didn't win a whole lot of duels still. Like, we won more. And then me and Vile were the only NCAA qualifiers. And then that next year we just exploded. That 2017 year we had, I think, 5 or 6 in the finals, maybe 7. Like, I got a story after this one, but sent 5 guys to nationals, I think. A lot of people won matches, and that was just a good experience for them too. And that me getting on the stand and us winning SoCons allowed us to build that new facility. And then it helped get better recruits, and it just, like you said, kind of turned the process around. And Coach Collette did a great job of, like, finding out what made Campbell special and broadcasting that and relaying that to recruits. But there's a joke. So I had a couple bad weight cuts, especially on our SoCon duels. So I actually went into the SoCon tournament as the 4 seed. Yeah. out of 7 or 8 teams. And I think, I don't even know, maybe one guy in the SoCon at 25 was ranked, and I'm the 4 seed. And then they go.
And you're like ranked what, like 10th or something?
I don't know if I think I had the 16th seed at nationals. So, but I was still like top 20, top 15. And then I didn't win SoCons. I actually got second. I lost to a guy named Freddie Rodriguez from SIUE. And then lo and behold, that's the guy having the blood round at nationals. So that was nice. Get a little revenge. Actually, I think he added me on Facebook as a friend on Instagram after SoCon, and I waited, and then after nationals I accepted. Then I was like, all right, we can be friends. But so
no, okay, you gotta tell that story. You've told me this story already, but it's a good one for everybody else. What Collette told you. So you got Freddie SoCon. He's getting you ready for it. You go wrestle him. You lose, and then you're like, okay, and then so, talk about
hotel room that night. Like, got time to cool off and stuff, and then we spent the night before we went back to Campbell the next day. And Coach Collette comes in. And he's like, "Look, because I lost to Freddie in the duel as well. And I'm used to short guys at 125, but this dude was so short. And Coach Corlett comes in and he's like, look, that dude's an anomaly. Like, he's so short. He's just a bad matchup for you. Like, don't worry about it. You're so much better than him, and you'll beat guys that he's going to lose to. Like, there's no way you're seeing him at nationals. Like, we'll be so much further along. And then it comes to nationals, and it's like, he's like, crap. He's like, I wish I didn't say that. Like, it's like,
it's your blood round match.
yep. Like, this is the one I need to All-American. It's just like, what was I thinking?
Well, what did he tell you before that match though?
He's like, hey, go get him. Like, I don't even, at that point, I was like, I don't want to say it, not the Twilight Zone, but I was just kind of like, I was just focused. There was no way I was losing that match. I was just like, it didn't matter. I was rolling at that point. Like, it felt good. Everything was coming together. It was like, this one's going to be different. I just had a feeling, it was like, this one's going to be different than the other ones. And it was, luckily for me. But
yeah,
it got it done.
That's awesome.
So now, but he still goes 4th in SoCon, 8th in the country. Like, that was the jump.
Let's go.
I don't know if that's been done yet. Campbell got another All-American, which was great this past year, and then he was actually just in the All-Star Classic. Tay Galdi, he beat Feldman. So we got the bookends. We got 25 and heavyweight. Right. They need to start filling in some other weights with All-Americans. But,
that's right. He put a hurting on Feldman.
Yeah, two takedowns. Yeah, he looked good.
2 or something, 7-2. But yeah, man. Hey, Nate, I appreciate you jumping in here, man. I appreciate everything you're doing for us and the guys. You're kind of the guy behind the curtain, getting everybody ready for Navy, and I just, from me to you, we appreciate you, and keep doing good things, man, and can't wait to see you next time, man.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to, obviously, I'm rooting for all the Navy guys as well, but seen those Naps guys continue to make jumps and making it to nationals and stuff is rewarding for me. I get really close with them here because it's just me and them. And so I'm their coach, their problem solver a little bit sometimes too, and yeah. So it's really rewarding being on the other side of it. People always talk about like the coaching, how rewarding coaching is, and I definitely see it, especially here with. I wish I got more than 1 year with the guys, but I do what I can, and then ship them off to you guys, and it's so much fun to see them just continue to excel, and getting to see them on the battalion trip every year and going to nationals. Now I'm making sure I got even more of a reason to go to nationals every year, not to just watch wrestling, but see these guys go tear it up out there.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you.
Of course.
But yeah, man, we'll catch you next time, and thanks.
Yeah, sounds good. See you later.
See you, Nate.